Yes, welcome back to another stream on the channel. This is your Game Week 5 review, where we will discuss some games. Well, not some, but all of the games in the game week. And yeah, listen, quite a few surprises. Well, not for me, but yeah, surprise for others. But we'll get into it. But first of all, we're gonna start adding the people that we have. First of all, we've got Ollie himself. Big up to you, Ollie. How you doing?
Big up. I'm good. I'm good. Big up for me on.
Yeah, no worries, big up to you. Then we also got Manny himself. How you doing, Manny? Big up to you.
Yeah, big up to you, son. All good, all good. Good to be back, and can't wait for this stream to go right ahead.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm not the only United fan here. I do have my guy Wajid. Big up to you.
Big O. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure being on here, man. So I really appreciate it.
No worries, no worries. We've got a lot of things, but obviously we're going to go in order as the fixtures were. Liverpool. I mean, obviously they won 3-1, but I think the first half, was probably the worst Liverpool side this season. But listen, they won. That's all I can say really. They got the 3 points, and yeah, Manny.
What can I say? Liverpool have found a way. Even with their rather rickety defence, they depend on their evolving midfield and their always sharp strike force to get the goals when they need them. I think when it comes to teams who take the lead against Liverpool, they seem to go back into some sort of a shell. I think maybe it's a sort of a lack of confidence and self-belief that do they really have what it takes to outlast them. We saw Gary O'Neill's former team, Bournemouth, do the same thing. I believe it was, if memory serves me right, Solanke, who put them ahead against Liverpool on his return to Anfield. He used to play for Liverpool, mind. But then 3 goals from Liverpool turned the tide. They did have Alexis McAllister sent off. And it was the same thing with Gary O'Neill's current team, Wolves. O'Neill, however, was, of course, manager of Bournemouth when they beat Liverpool sensationally at Dean Court, but that's another digression. I think we all would like to think that Liverpool have sort of recovered well, but clearly there are some issues with the defence. Virgil van Dijk is clearly, nowhere near the force he once was. And it was also good to see TAA, Trent Alexander-Arnold, rested and Joe Gomez given the start at right back. I keep saying to several Liverpool fans who happen to be friends of mine that I like Gomez better as a right back than a central defender. And at least now that he's had that game under his belt and didn't put a foot wrong, I think, Liverpool now know that TAA has some good competition. You could start TAA and then take him off and bring on Gomez, or play Gomez as more of a right centre back so that TAA can double up as a wing back and move forward. So Klopp does now have some options. Gomez could prove key, even if he doesn't get as many minutes as he would like. But there are still some defensive problems, and they're going to need their best defenders, especially Konate, to come back fit and sharp, because goals may win you games, but defenses will win you championships. And it's still not really necessarily a good look to fall behind to a team like Wolverhampton. No disrespect, of course, to Hugby, because although he's not a fan, that is, of course, technically his local team. But Liverpool are, I think, they're slowly but surely, doing what they need to do. And the nice thing I think I can see is that they're not resting on each win. They're looking to see how they can possibly improve and try and take it further. And so they're going to be a very tough team to play against this season. As for Wolves, there's a part of me that does like O'Neill, and obviously having seen the way he, steered Bournemouth to safety after the whole mess they had with Scott Parker at the beginning, I was quite surprised that he was cast aside. And now, of course, at Molineux, he'll be on a hiding to nothing. But there's a part of me that thinks that he will do what he needs to do to keep Wolverhampton up. And he's got them playing a very honest sort of brand of football. I think he'll do some decent things with them. They should stay up, or even if it might not be as comfortably as they would like. But Liverpool, watch out for them, because once they get their defence in order, they are going to be tough, really tough.
Yeah. Ollie, I'm going to go over to you. What do you think of the Liverpool win against Wolves?
Yeah, good win for Liverpool. I don't know what it is about 12:30 kickoffs on Friday night or the first game. I'm just really good at predicting the scores. I predicted the Luton score when Chelsea played them. I think that was a Friday night game, and I'm usually good at the 12:30 kickoffs. But yeah, I predicted the score. I thought Wolves would score. You know, I usually favour the home team to score. But yeah, Liverpool, I think they're unbeaten at the moment. Haven't lost a game. Wolves as well, not looking very good for Wolves. But yeah, Liverpool unbeaten. They're on the same points as Arsenal, but they're third. We've got the same goal difference as Tottenham, but Wolves not looking good for them. I think they're yet to win a game yet. Yeah. Oh, they've won one game, but they're 16th in the table. There's some good win for Liverpool. They stay unbeaten. Salah getting us 2 assists, and Gakpo and Robertson with the goal. I'm not sure who got the third goal. Who got the third own goal from Sonnet. Yeah, own goal. And obviously Juan got the goal for Wolves. I think Wolves are lacking a striker. I'm looking at their striker Kuna. Obviously they got rid of Jimenez and no one's really replaced him, so they do need a striker. I think they probably need to improve their defense. Well, they probably need to improve their whole team, to be honest. But Liverpool looking good at the moment. Obviously, they drew to Chelsea the first game of the season. They probably would have been up there in the top 2. They would have won that game. But yeah, good. I'd say good win. Yeah, I predicted the score as well. I love it when I predict the score. Obviously, you know it's good for the Prem predictions group chats. But yeah, good win for Liverpool. Not looking good for Wolves at the moment. I don't think they'll get relegated, but they'll luckily stay up. I think they're one of those teams that will stay up, but quite luckily. But they do need to start getting some wins on the board so they don't creep down to that relegation zone. But yeah, Liverpool looking good at the moment, unbeaten. One of 4 teams that are unbeaten. So yeah, good win for Liverpool.
Yeah, 100%. Hey, then we will touch on. Also, you got a question about, and then we'll try. I've saved it, so we're going to touch that towards the end of the stream. But big up to you, Aiden, and also Hashim. Big up to you as well. Graduate, obviously Liverpool 3-1 win. What's your thoughts on that win for Liverpool?
To be honest, not really much to add. Like, Klopp has done a very, very good job at replacing that midfield that he won the Premier League and the Champions League with. I think Gravenberch is a very, very, very good signing. And if he extracts that Ajax form he had, I just think Bayern wasn't a good fit for him. But you replace Henderson Fabinho with McAllister, Soboslai, who can also play in the left wing, and Gravenberch. That's a very, very good middle three has all the potential to be a very, very good middle three. In terms of Wolves, they shot themselves in there. Like, they went 1-0 up and then thought, right, we're gonna try and see how the next 90 minutes, 100 minutes, 110 minutes, however long a Premier League football game is nowadays, given the extra time and stuff. But Liverpool got the job done, and I think Liverpool's real test comes at the end of end of November through December, where they've got sort of quote unquote big, like 4 of the big 6 teams. But if they sort of grind out results the way they're doing now and find form going into those games, they could genuinely challenge again for the league this season, which in a transitional year would sort of blow that whole football clubs are always in transitional year bullshit straight out of the water, to be perfectly honest. In terms of Wolves, could really care less if they stay up or go down. I mean, as a United fan, I've never liked Wolves. I won't mind seeing the back of them, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, and I think, like I said before, it's a good win for Liverpool. But like I said, Wolves, if they go down or not, it wouldn't matter to me. So yeah, Liverpool, fair play. Midfield, you've strengthened. Something United haven't done. But yeah, big up to you, Liverpool, for strengthening the midfield. Gravenberch, if he gets his Ajax form, he's a really good player, man. So yeah, they've got a good player in their hands. Next game, it is Aston Villa 3, Palace 1. Ollie, I'm going to go to you first. Obviously, I think Palace was winning 1-0 first, and then obviously Villa woke up and then, won the game afterwards. But overall, what do you think, Ollie? Ollie?
Oh, sorry, my mic was muted there. Obviously, Villa, looking good at the moment. I think they've lost the game, so they're 7th, but they've got Conference League football, which looking forward to. So it will be tougher for them. Obviously, the squad depth will come in play, and obviously, they'll have to rotate a lot in the Premier League probably. But yeah, good. Obviously, not keeping the clean sheet, but good win. Douglas Luiz with a goal, and Leon Bailey and Duran coming off for the bench getting a goal, so good for them. Sam Johnson in goal for not a good game for him, obviously conceding 3 goals. Jordan Ayew out injured, which is probably a big blow for it. He's not. Obviously, they probably got a replacement. Edouard is well, good striker. He's getting a goal. Quiet game for Watkins though. Didn't get a goal and assist. But looking at Villa's defense, they have quite a good defense with Pau Torres, Digne, Cash. But yeah, good win. 2 of their substitutes getting a goal. Aston Villa looking all right. Possibly, challenge for the Europa League this season if they don't win the Conference League. But yeah, good win for Aston Villa.
Yeah, 100%. Do we have Hanno here? Hanno, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Be up yourself.
Be up too. Manny, obviously, Martinez played your player, but overall for Villa win, what do you think? Because there was 1-0 down. So yeah, what do you think overall?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I mean, obviously, we might want to discuss the whole stoppage time issue when we have more people on the stream, and I'd probably like to keep it when we do a preview for the next game week. But I'll tell you what, there was a point when I didn't really think they would actually make it. I was predicting 3-1. I didn't think Martinez would keep a clean sheet. But when I take a look at the highlights, seeing him slip for that first goal, if he hadn't lost his footing over there, he would almost definitely have dealt with that. But he obviously recovered to make some important saves. If you check my Twitter, one particular save from Eberishi Eze, where he came out to sort of try and approach him, but his positioning was spot on. And Eze thought he could try and chip him, but when you're 6'5" and have a huge reach like that, stuck out that big left hand to sort of, flick that in the air, take the pace off it, and then collect it. If he had conceded that time, it would have been 2-0 to Palace and, game over, done and dusted. But that is really the sign of a world-class goalkeeper, in my opinion. And Aston Villa were always posing threats since the opening whistle. They just weren't able to get their act together. But then on came John Duran. Mouth was alive with juices like wine, and he was hungry like the wolf. And he got his goal. And then that sort of seemed to spur Villa on to go on and win. It was definitely a penalty for Villa with Ollie Watkins fouled by Richards. Luiz stepping up to send former Aston Villa goalkeeper Johnston the wrong way. And then, of course, it was Leon Bailey who had the finishing touches. And I don't think Crystal Palace can have too many complaints about it, really, because when you take a look at the the way the game was played, they were pretty much second best. But one of the things about football is that you can be second best for the majority of the 90 minutes and still, by virtue of having scored more goals, you can go away with all 3 points. That's just the way it is. You take the rough with the smooth. Aston Villa will still need to work a little bit, in my opinion, on their defense. They've had a few injuries. Obviously, Mings and Diego Carlos being out hasn't helped, but Pau Torres has really taken to life in the Premiership very well. And, Villa still might be a little bit inconsistent, but I think they will make an excellent fist of it in the Conference League. I expect them to win it. If their former striker Danny Ings could win it with West Ham, there's no reason why this Villa team shouldn't be able to go further. And, for their fans, it's wonderful for them to be experiencing European football once again. I will look to try and watch that game on Thursday if it is televised in my neck of the woods. But, Yeah, good stuff. A good game to watch if you could watch it. I did watch the repeat telecast and enjoyed it. Well done to Unai Emery's boys.
Yeah, yep, 100%, 100%. Hello, I'm going to go over to you now. Obviously, Villa 3-1 win. What's your thoughts on that Villa game? Hello?
He's muted, son.
Yeah, he's me. I think he's doing something. Wajid, obviously, Villa 3-1 win. What's your thoughts on that game? Oh, you're on mute.
You're muted.
Sorry, I had some. Sorry.
No.
Unai Emery showing why he's a very, very good manager. To be perfectly honest, like I know we'll get to a lot of teams who went sort of 1-0 behind this week, but out of what, like, they didn't look like a team that weren't going to create enough chances to win. Yeah, Villa. I mean, Palace could have smashed and grabbed, but if you saw the game, like Villa had chance after chance after chance, hit the post, save, hit the post, save, and then Duran came on, absolutely amazing finish, just utterly walloped the volley. Johnson had no chance. That thing was past him. It was like one of them FIFA moments where the ball's already in the back of the net and the keeper on FIFA then decides to dive, like it already gone, and then yeah, you could say they were lucky with the penalty. At the end of the day, it is a stupid challenge, and given how Premier League referees and VAR is looked at all in sort of world football, where people think they're the worst in the world. Let's be perfectly honest. Why are you making a challenge like that? Even if you have marginally touched the ball, not touched the ball, it's stupid to go down like that. Louise with a nice penalty, and then Leon Bailey finishing it. Leon Bailey finishing the job, but that front three of Bailey, Giarbi, and Duran, and interchanging with Ings, is a quite an underrated front three. And like Manny said, I think Villa's problems aren't going to be going forward. Villa's problems are going to be defensively, because there's only so many times you can sort of go 1-0 down, 2-0 down, and hope to outscore the opposition. It might work some instances, but other instances it's not. In terms of Palace, they'll be fine. There's much weaker teams this season in the Premier League. Eduardo's starting to show some good forms, bringing that old sort of Celtic form. In Eze and Elise, two very, very good young players. They'll be fine. They just, again, it was another team that's gone 1-0 up and gone, all right, yeah, we can nick it, and all adventure and sort of any opportunity to create any chances just died after they went sort of 1-0 up. I don't know what it is about this current incarnation of football where teams want to sit back on 1-0 and hope for the best, but it's not working. We've seen multiple times. If the team is, unless you play Man United, if a team is better than you, you are going to get carved open, get ripped apart, and get open. And we saw it with Wolves, and we saw it with Palace. But they'll be fine.
Yeah, what's ironic, Wajid, I'm glad you brought that up, is that Aston Villa had that weakness last season, and they'd always take the lead, but then go into a bit of a shell. And were it not for that more defensive mindset, they probably would have scored more, earned more points, and those points would have made a difference between being in the Europa Conference League and being in the actual Europa League, or possibly even being in the Champions League.
Absolutely.
But I think credit to Villa. I think they're sort of trying to, be a lot more ruthless in front of goal. But defensively, I think they've got Longley on loan. They still have another ex-Arsenal player in Callum Chambers in reserve. And, Longley's on loan, from Barcelona, I think. He used to play for Spurs. So Emery's done some really good business in the transfer market, and I think Aston Villa. I'll be looking forward to seeing how they do this season, obviously. And as you said, Palace should be fine.
I think in terms of, just quick before we move on, in terms of Emery, everyone, because he had that first interview where he started the whole good evening meme at Arsenal, right? For some reason that's sort of like that sort of disintegrated everything he's achieved. Like, the man has won multiple European titles with Sevilla. This isn't some joke man of a manager. He is a very, 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 very good. He's a very, very, very good manager. You don't go sort of back to back with in Europa. You don't win 3 Europa Leagues. Like, regardless of what you think of the competition, if you're not good, you don't have the record you have in La Liga if you're not a good manager. So I think he's been allowed to imprint his sort of style on the team. He's been allowed to imprint what he likes in the team. And I think a lot of people don't realize Villa are one of the richest clubs in the league as well, with their owners. Like, Villa have a lot of money. And people don't realize that. Like, people that talk about Newcastle and like the Saudis and stuff like that. Villa will be able to, like, if Villa continue on their progression, they will be able to throw their financial muscle in the next couple of years. Make no mistake about that. And I think this could be the start of something very, very good for the Villa fans in Birmingham. I really, really do.
Yeah, the disrespect Emery gets from Arsenal fans is still disgusting, and those fans are a disgrace to the club.
For you guys, I know some Palace fans are saying that the officiating on that penalty. I haven't seen it. I don't know if you guys have. Was it a penalty for Villa?
It was a penalty, Hanno, because a lot of people were saying that because Omar Richards got the ball, it shouldn't have been a penalty. But if you look at it carefully, he obviously got. And Burnley have just taken the lead, by the way. A very well taken goal there. And Matt Turner rooted to the spot. But see, the thing is, if you take a look at the penalty again, you clearly see Omar Richards catching Ollie Watkins, and then sort of using his other leg to get the ball. So Darren England obviously wanted to take a look at that very clearly, and then he made his decision, and it was the right decision. I think Richards can have no complaints there.
Okay.
Yeah. My thoughts before we move on. Obviously, I think it's a very good win for Villa. I know there was 1-0 down, but I think Roy Hodgson wasn't there because, I think he was ill, so hopefully there's nothing too serious about that. But Palace, I wouldn't be too concerned about Palace because I think, like Roger said, there's worse teams down there. So Palace, I think they'll be fine. Villa, listen, they're going to do some surprises this season, so wouldn't surprise me if they do a man this season. But Emery, so far, he's been brilliant. And yeah, next game, before I bring up the next game, just a little video for you guys.
Will you beat him in the League Cup?
Nevin, if you want my prediction, put down 3-0 Brighton.
The FA Cup, sorry.
Oh! Carl AFC. Listen, I'm going to try my best to, calm myself down, but Brighton were the best team out there. I mean, saw a video on Twitter, man. I think for the first goal, there's like 3 or 4 players that were just walking. They were playing over 50 football. And that's Casemiro. I think it was Casemiro, Ericsson, and Rashford. I'm sorry, but those 3 should not be playing this Wednesday. Whether United fans like it or not, Ten Hag needs to. I know Ten Hag talks about this mentality and stuff here. How about you do it when players aren't performing on the pitch? Because for me, Marcus Rashford, oh boy, listen. If you tell him to press, he won't understand you. He's just walking. And obviously, I know Ten Hag got booed when he took a point. For me, listen, I can get it. I can get that, but I can also see that maybe trying to save him from the buying him. But I understand him taking off Hoyland for Martial when So we all know Martial doesn't do anything. Yeah, it's a complete disgrace. And Lindelof, I thought for the first goal, Lindelof was being Lindelof, man. Lindelof was being Lindelof. Listen, United fans that said, "Oh, ice cold, so happy to have him here." Listen, yeah, I don't do that nonsense, but Brighton deserve the 3 points. Listen, you know what's crazy? Yeah? I think today, I'm not gonna lie, today I've had like 3 questions. I've had people ask me, am I turning on out? And I just laughed to myself because you know what these United fans think that changing managers are going to do anything when they're really not really on this ownership and situation. changing managers will not do anything. I'm sorry, but United fans can say, yeah, let's bring in the Zerbi or let's bring in someone else. That will not change anything. So, I know Wajid has a run coming in, but listen, for me, I don't need to shout because I predicted 3-0 Brighton. So, listen, I don't need to shout myself, but Rashford needs to be dropped. All I'm saying.
All I can say is, rest. Welcome to the trenches. Welcome to the mud. This is how it feels like.
Relax. You got 1 win in 5 matches. Relax. So, but Wajid, have your rant.
No. Let everyone know. I'd like the outside perspectives first, then I'll say, because I said a lot on the last stream. I can't. It's going to be the same stuff. So let the other guys go first, and I'll go.
Yeah. Well, let me be the first to say that if David Shaw was here right now, I mean, you all know how he is. He is one of Rashford's biggest defenders, and on Twitter he's made it crystal clear that anyone who dares to call Rashford selfish and say that he can't shoot a pass, all he can do is shoot, he's a bit too greedy, never really watched the game, because there were several passes that he did make. And let's not forget that United did have a goal disallowed when they went 1-0 down. I remember, when Højlund scored, I was about to tweet, the Rasmus has been been waiting in the shadows for his time, in a reference to that song, which was released 20 years ago. Some of you weren't even born. I'm sure, Wajid, you'll have heard that song before, mate. But sadly, due to obviously an offside, I believe, and not offside, it was the ball going out, it was disallowed. And the funny thing was that they should have used the same goal line technology to determine that the ball had completely crossed the goal line, because looking at it again and again and again without the benefit of having that technology, I'm not sure it did. And that is going to come down to incompetence of the referees. You've got this technology. You've got to be able to use it effectively and make sure everyone sees it. If you can do it for the World Cup, why not the Premier League?
Because
so Rashford did.
Sorry, Manny. Because the Premier League did not want to implement the VAR that was implemented in the World Cup or in the Champions League. I'm not sure if you're aware or not. There was a vote at the start of the year for the implementation of the World Cup and Champions League VAR. The Premier League chose not to go with it. Every other major league in Europe has done it. The Premier League are the only ones that chose not to go with it. Chose to go with the goal line or the offside. You know, the 3D modeling and stuff. It was voted for by, I'm not sure if it was the referees or it definitely wasn't teams. I think it was the referees, because the referees are so fucking shit in this country. Obviously, they don't want to be even more embarrassed than they normally do. They chose not to implement it this year. Sorry, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if you're aware of that or not. So I didn't want to
No. Well, I wasn't aware of that, so thank you for stepping in. I do appreciate that. And it's stupid because they're willing to adopt the whole stoppage time nonsense, and we'll talk about that possibly on a preview stream. I hope we'll see you there. But to not have the technology, not be able to use it, and to vote against it, it's absolute irresponsibility. It's sacrilege, and teams and fans are paying the price. But again, you can't look at those marginal decisions and say, that was the reason why they lost, because there was no excuse. I will say this, and I hope you and Oris can agree with me on this, Wajid, that there was no excuse for United to concede 2 more goals and be 3-0 down. Being 3-0 down at Old Trafford is absolutely unacceptable. I'm old enough to remember in 1992 when Queen's Park Rangers, of all teams, came to Old Trafford and found themselves 3-0 up. Mark Hughes did pull a goal back for them, but Dennis Bailey completed his hat-trick, slotting it past Peter Schmeichel. I think he wanted to, speak to the United players after that, but Ferguson was literally giving them the hairdryer. And that season, United lost the title to Leeds. So I can mention this because, Oris, you weren't born then, and I don't know how old you are, Wajid. I don't know if you remember that. But yeah, so there was no excuse for United to be 3-0 down to Brighton and Hove Albion, and it was good to see Hannibal, Hannibal the Cannibal, as it were, trying to restore a bit of pride. But back to Oris talking about changing a manager not being the best solution. I probably would have to agree that at this stage it's completely unwarranted, because Ollie and I will remember that in Mikel Arteta's first season, we were as low as 15th in the league. We couldn't buy a home win. We had a dreadful run. And if Theo Walcott's goal against us at the Emirates turned out to be the winner, I firmly believe Arteta would have been sacked. The irony of having his job, terminated by an ex-teammate of his. Bizarre, really. So it's still too early in the season. There clearly are some teething issues. And if memory serves me right, last season, when you had a player who was creating quite a few problems for the team and squad harmony, he was, of course, severely dealt with, and the team went on to recover. So this really now needs to be a signal for Ten Hag to really, dig his heels in and say any type of disruptive behavior will not be tolerated. The tragedy is, I think Jadon Sancho is a pretty decent player. He does have some talent, and he should be, in theory, continuing to play well for United and continuing to contribute. So there has to be a resolution for all of this. I think Ten Hag now really needs to sort of, crack the whip and say that this is unacceptable, and he has to sort out the defense. I'm sorry. Harry Maguire will be sitting on the bench and thinking, how in the heck is Victor Lindelof ahead of me in the pecking order? But the defense really has a lot of issues. Casemiro, I think, was let go by Real at the right time for the club, because I think he started to become a little bit, lazy in a way. So all of these guys really need a huge kick up the backside. And the only consolation I would say is that when you've hit rock bottom like this, 2 consecutive home defeats to the Seagulls, the only way you can go is up.
Yeah. Ollie, let's hear your thoughts. I know you was on the group chat. I don't know why you're calling me out when I literally said 3-0 Brighton, but Ollie, you can have your say. You can have your say, Ollie.
No, I wasn't calling out. I was just saying can't wait to react this, because you were a bit quiet in the group chat. But as you said, you did predict the loss. I'm surprised you did. You should be backing your team, especially at home. But yeah, Brighton with it. I mean, I predicted a Man United win. I thought Man United win, but I don't know. Brighton came up with something. But they're doing all right at the moment. I think they're 5th now. They've lost 1 game. Yeah, very short. Man United are not having a good season so far. They're 13th now. They've only won 2 games. Yeah, Rashford not looking that good. Højlund obviously making his debut. He was all right, but not the best. Obviously, he was subbed off as well. Onana made quite a lot of saves, even though conceding 3 goals from
I was going to talk about Onana. Yeah, I was going to talk about Onana. Go on, Ali, go on.
Yeah, obviously, annoyingly, João Pedro scored because I got rid of him in my fantasy team, but because he's been on the bench too many times. But yeah, looking at Brighton's team, it is a decent team, but I'm just really surprised the result. I thought United would win, at home. Obviously Brighton are doing quite well at the moment, but the last time you did actually lose them last time you played at home.
They beat us double. Yeah, twice.
So there isn't. You haven't got a good record against Brighton at home, so hopefully that will be broken soon. But actually, I don't think you should be blaming the manager at the moment. Maybe when you're 10 games in and yet to win a game, whatever, then blame him. But I think you need to give him time. I'm a bit worried about Onana. I don't think he's the right replacement for De Gea.
You was gonna say that.
Reguilon as well. Not he making his debut.
By the way, best player on the pitch today in that game. Yeah.
No.
And that tells you it, to be fair. But yeah.
Yeah, but listen, not looking good for United at the moment. But yeah, Brighton getting the win. Very, very surprised about this result. I know the rest did it though. But
I
yeah,
predicted it. I'm not.
Man United do need to start getting the wins on the board. But yeah, poor result.
Yeah, listen, I'm always 100% when it comes to my club. Like people say about my club, there's no point about my club anymore. Well, listen, other things can change, but listen, it is what it is for me. I know Hannah said welcome to our side, but I'll let Wajid talk now. Wajid, you can have your say.
I mean, I know someone just mentioned Donana. He's conceded 7 goals from the 10 shots on target. He really didn't make that many saves. The third one went straight through his hands. But it's okay. He has a 90% distribution pass, so who gives a shit if he saves anything, right? He can pass the ball. It's just what's the I was on the show the week before, just before the international break. I said we'd lose to Brighton. I said we're going to get slapped by Brighton. We lost to Brighton. We're going to get slapped by Brighton. People talk about I've seen online people say Rashford needs to learn to play with a striker. He's not Medbury. He's not Garnacho. He's not some 20-year-old kid. He's a 25-year-old winger on 350 grand a week. All of us here know if there's a striker in the middle of the box, you square the ball. That doesn't need coaching. Like the amount of runs Højlund was making, and bear in mind, the kid literally could not do anything because he wasn't provided what can you do if you're not provided the ball except just make run after run? How many gut-busting runs he was making into the middle just for Rashford to take shots, and even the goal, he was forced to pass the ball. If you look at the move, he's trying to get a shot. He's trying to get a shot off, but he's been pushed onto his left. The fact that Hannibal and Reguilon were our two best when Hannibal came on, and Reguilon all game were our two best players speaks volumes about the pathetic mindset of these players. And a lot rest on Ten Hag in this game. Why is he gone for a diamond? Why what material has Anthony got on you that you can't play with wingers? Like, what were you helping Anthony slap up his girlfriends as well at the same time? Were you? Is that why Palestrio Garnacho can't get a game? And let's not even get to that, because apparently those cases were brought to Anthony before he signed for the club. Ajax, those charges were pending, and United have still spent 18 million on him. Rashford, no pressing. Martial, no pressing. And people are going at Hannibal because Hannibal didn't track his man. We conceded the same goal 3 times. A simple ball, a simple pass into the middle. Midfielders not tracking their man. Lindelof somehow getting megged for the first goal. Bruno not right. And say what you want about Bruno, but that man on Saturday started at cam, then he became the holding midfielder. Then he finished the game as centre back. People going, Bruno's the problem. What is the man supposed to do if he's finishing the game as centre? He's finishing the game as centre back. Like, literally, what do you want the guy to do? They're gonna get slapped by. I think we play Bayern tomorrow. I'm happy. I'm going on holiday tomorrow, so I'm glad I'm not. Is it Wednesday? Yeah. Thank you. Right. Well, I'm glad I'm on holiday tomorrow because I ain't watching the game. I can't be bothered with that. It's just pathetic. And Brighton didn't have to be good. United were just pathetic. And Ten Hag needs to. If Ten Hag is all about changing the mindset of the club, changing the players, bringing heart, players like Rashford need to be dropped to prove a point. Like if you have a system, if you're trying to implement your 3-1-6 or your 3-2-5 or whatever it was at Ajax, and players aren't doing the job you're telling them to do, then they need to be dropped. At this moment in time, what is the worst that can happen if you play the kids? We got slapped by Brighton. Who cares if we get slapped by? Who cares if we get slapped by Bayern? Is what's the worst that can happen at Old Trafford at this point? Like genuinely, what is the worst that can happen? And people are gonna say, "Oh, Brighton were amazing." Brighton didn't have to be good. I don't think Brighton were like Brighton. Like I said, Brighton didn't have to get out of second gear. It was literally run down the wing. No one's gonna track the man. Find the man in the middle. Score. Like to have no heart, no passion, no desire to not want to chase the game when you're 1-0 down, 2-0 down, to make the same mistakes, to not mark you. These are basic stuff. Like Austin, I'm sure he's still coaching football. I'm guaranteed this is the basic shit he teaches when he's coaching. Track your player, mark your man, don't lose the man. If we're gonna press, we press together. It's not one person presses. Like these are basic. It's not complicated things, and the people calling for Ten Hag's head, and like all these crappy protests. It's not a protest if you pay to watch the game and then sit in the stadium afterwards. What kind of protest is that you pay for the service and then protest about the service after you pay for it? That's not a protest. That's just stupid. And all these people are top reds, or like there's no cohesion anywhere. And people wanted to talk about the Glazers and stuff like that. Like the Glazers have been there for years. Like who cares? Like this wasn't on the Glazers. The Glazers didn't pick this side. The Glazers didn't put the players out there. The Glazers weren't playing. It was just a pathetic performance. It was just a pathetic performance. So I can't be bothered. Otherwise, I'm going to end up starting swearing. To be honest.
Listen, I get you, man, but I can't be angry anymore. I can't, because I always try and shout about. I'm not going to be angry because I'm generally not surprised. I also did warn United fans, because of that preseason we had to fly to many different places, USA, Norway. These players are going to get fatigued, man. We played, 9 preseason games? So, yeah, and then people want to say injuries. No. Every single football club, they deal with injuries. So that excuse should be bent. For me, Bayern Munich this Wednesday, Rashford, I need to see him on that sub. I need to see him. Because with Ten Hag, if you're going to be ruthless with other players like Sancho and other players, you need to be ruthless when players aren't performing. And for me, that is, oh my God, these cannot press, man. They cannot press. We're just walking around, lazy. And then obviously, I think I heard a couple of boos as well. Like even in the first half, like when they were just walking around, like they got deservedly booed as well. Like
I mean, the fans started chanting, but the fans started chanting "Viva Ronaldo" as well. You know what I mean? Like the fans are starting. Yeah. No. It's actually true. They started chanting "Viva Ronaldo." I was at the game. Like there was a section that was starting chanting "Viva Ronaldo."
That tells you. Did you boo when he took off Hoyland from Russia?
Of course I did. We're 2-0 down and you're taking off a striker. Who cares? I don't give a shit what your laptop says about how much he can play. If he's on the pitch, he's fit enough to play. You're chasing the game.
No, I get you. Listen, I get you. Hannah, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Talk about United. Or if you have any
Welcome to
questions.
Francis United from one fan that's in trenches to another. Welcome. But honestly, this is Brighton's B team. Let's be honest. I think let's cut the mustard. This is Brighton's B team. They made like 8 to 6 changes to that lineup. So, and it's not like Brighton were fantastic, that they controlled possession every time. It was just United being so poor. Um, and at times you, you got to feel for Ten Hag without the players outperforming, but then you also have to put blame on him because he picked that 11. Why Ericsson is even on the pitch?
I did
don't
warn
know.
people about Ericsson, by the way. I did warn, but I got told I got an agenda, so I'm not going to speak enough about Ericsson.
Yeah, he's a bit inconsistent. McTominay, I think many people were harsh on him.
He was shit.
What?
He was shit. What are you talking about?
For me,
McTominay,
I
oh
think
my
he's
god! Listen,
decent.
this guy is still.
He had 20 touches. The next midfielder after him had 57. What you like? Come on, come on. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Okay, fair. Okay. you guys
Listen, McTominay, I swear to God, yeah, that I can probably play better than McTominay. I'm not even a footballer, man. I'm a football coach, but I can probably play better than McTominay. So, listen, Ten Hag got the lineup wrong. I understand.
You United fans need to put some respect on Regulon's name. Baller, absolute baller for United that game. Well, okay, it's not a baller, but he done really well.
He played good.
Player.
If a lone player was your best player on the pitch, that tells you everything what you need to say about the other players.
But Wyland was impressive. I got to say, look. Again, I think the players don't know this new system, what to do, and that makes it on Ten Hag and on Ten Hag that this new system is not suited for United, for the United players, or they don't know it. And again, on a United players course, at least try to adapt and try something. It's almost like when you see the coach's tactics isn't working, go against it, show some balls, and try something different, and maybe it works. That's just what I think. I think Brighton, they picked their moments and they scored the goals.
Yeah, listen, I agree. Listen, for me, if a lone player was your best player on the pitch, like I said before, just tells you about the performance. So there's a lot of changes really for me, and I always gone.
Is he doing good? Well, what's happening with Onana?
Oh no, listen. I know I did this, For me, listen. Oh no, listen. I can say that he's not being good enough. There's some of the goals that Brighton scored, man. Come on, you should be saving that. For me, that third goal for me was it. Third goal, come on, man. But you know what? Some of the fans, he can play from his back. He can play from his feet. But they don't realise that when you got Lindelof, listen, it's still. You know what I'm seeing? What I saw today. Ooh, Varane's back. We have a chance against Bayern. Listen, I can't stand some of the fans. That's why I don't even reply to them. But money gone.
Is Amrabat able to play on Wednesday? Has he been registered in time?
He's out for the month.
No, he won't be. He won't play against Bayern, but I think he might play against Burnley. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think Mount.
He's out. He's out for 3 weeks. He's out for 3 weeks. We sign injured players.
Yeah, I think Mount. Even though I don't rate
Sunday night, right? Sunday night away at Turf Moor.
Saturday night. Listen,
look,
if we struggle, listen. What I'm saying, if we're losing it, we will lose to Bayern, but lose to Bayern, lose to Burnley. Some of these fans, not me, some of these fans, and by the way, the Glazers, they will always do whatever they do, throw the manager under the bus, and sack. So listen, it won't be surprised. I won't be surprised if we lose our next 3 or 4 games, our fans will be Ten Hag
just
out.
just before we move on, the thing I will blame Ten Hag for, he's made his Ajax light. They're all players that have played in the Dutch league or players he's played with before. Mount does not fit in United system. The one position we didn't need was a central attacking midfielder. Mount was a central attacking midfielder. For the same price United signed Mount, they could have got Amrabat on loan, Gravenberch, and Kim Min-jae, which would have solved two problems. Mount and De Gea were the two least pressing matters at Old Trafford. Højlund was supposed to be a cheap signing. You pay 30 million more, you end up with Osimhen or Kane. That's how much Højlund's end up costing Man United. He was supposed to be a cheap 35 million pound deal. United, what's the point of having a director of football who can't do his fucking job? United cry, oh, there's a 10-20 million pound tax when we come along. Yeah, because people know you're stupid enough to pay the prices people offer. They were celebrating that they got Mount for 50 million. He's in the last year of his contract, and you're giving him 350 grand a week. What is there to celebrate? And he's injured again. You've signed a player that's only had one good season at Chelsea. Aside from that, he's injury prone, or he gives you 3 to 5. He gives you 3 to 5, and what? You're going to stick him on the right wing with Anthony, Sancho, Diallo, Palestri. This is where I have no sympathy for Ten Hag. There was that many players out there he could have got. He's chose to go Ajax light. He's chose to go Lerpak light, Dutch light, and this is what happens. Anyway, was people falling asleep while we're running by United. Man, we need to move on, man.
Yeah, let's move on. Next game, we'll just run through quickly. Fulham being Fulham 1-0. I mean, I was expecting a bit more higher scoreline, but listen, a win is a win for me. If you win a Premier League matches, you win. So, yeah, that's what I have to say about Fulham. They got the win. Money.
Yeah, really routine. I think the funny thing about this, about Luton and Sheffield United, is that in the last few games they played, 2 games now, they've shown some really, really good fight. A lot of us have been predicting both Luton and Sheffield to be the 2 teams who came up from the Championship to go back down. But Luton, I think, have shown that they can definitely, compete with some of the teams above them. And I think if they just make some shrewd purchases in the January transfer window, they could end up, making a very serious challenge. It may be too little, too late, but don't be surprised if they're able to make something out of it. And Fulham obviously no longer have Mitrovic in their lineup, so they have to try and find goals any other which way. But another clean sheet for Bernd Leno. I think he'll be quite happy with that. And yeah, there really is nothing much to talk about this game except Fulham. They did what they had to do, and they certainly proved again when they played us at the Emirates that they are a team that have an impressive level of fight about them. So. So far, Fulham are proving a lot of doubters wrong, and Marco Silva is still enjoying life at Craven Cottage. I mean, maybe not enjoying it, but he's still enjoying some better results than expected. So, give the cottages a bit more respect, at least for now.
Yeah, 100%. Ollie, your thoughts on the Fulham win against Luton?
Yeah, not really much to talk about because it was only a 1-0 win and both teams aren't good, but yeah, Luton are definitely going down for me. No wins so far out of 4 games because obviously their game against Burnley got cancelled. Yeah, Vinicius Jr. coming off the bench. Raul Jimenez as well. No goals for him, but yeah, clean sheet for Burnley. I know obviously got 2 saves, but I think Fulham should have been beating Luton more than 1-0. Should be at least 2 or more. Luton aren't very good. You should be scoring more goals, and obviously, yeah, but Fulham, they're not doing too bad. They're 9th in the league, and for me, Luton are definitely going down. I don't see them getting. They might be lucky to get a win, maybe like Sheffield United or maybe Everton if they're bad on their day. But I think when Arsenal play Luton, we have to beat them convincingly. We can't win 1-0 or whatever. We need to win with a clean sheet.
At home you should. Away from home is different story.
Yeah, away from home different. But yeah, obviously I'm a bit disappointed with Fulham. Should be winning more than that. But as you said, a win's a win. So yeah, Luton are going down. Good win for Fulham.
Yeah, 100%. We're gonna skip the Fulham game. Go to Tottenham. Sorry, they're looking good.
You said skip the
Tottenham
Fulham.
are so lucky now.
We could...
2 goals in 3 months. They're so lucky, man.
That's not lucky. That's a team that fights to the end.
Nah.
That's not luck. That's not luck. That's a team that fights to the end.
Okay, I think they were lucky to get 12 minutes added on, but yeah, fighting to then. Yeah. At least I had Kulusevski in my fantasy, which is better. So cool. I think Tottenham, if they can continue just start winning games. Look, if they can somehow get results against also at the Emirates, then maybe we need to take them a bit more seriously.
Yeah. No, listen, I think obviously we'll touch on the North London derby, not this stream, but later this week. But Tottenham, man, they are looking very good under Ange. So yeah, listen, as much as said, they're just a team that fight to the end. And yeah, I thought, listen, that referee, by the way, I don't know if you guys seen him, but he was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Manny, what do you think? Did you see about the referee as well being terrible?
Well, I'm not too sure I can really look at it that way because I think we were talking earlier in the stream about how certain teams feel as though they can try and sit back on 1-0 leads. And it seems to me if the... I mean, obviously, I'm not saying that Twitter is the footballing gospel, and I never really got to see the game myself. But if Sheffield United were engaging in time-wasting tactics and trying to, do whatever they could to hold on to the lead, then, they were asking for trouble, especially up against a Tottenham team that has been refreshed by Postecoglou and which can boast of a hungry Heung-min Son and James Maddison, of course. We won't mention a certain miscreant who also, like others, doesn't know how to treat women. But, Sheffield United, again, are another team that really showed some good fight, and they were good value for their lead. But they have to learn to be a little bit more ruthless like other teams. And most of these teams that come up from the Championship will have problems scoring goals. And that's going to be the big issue that they have, really. So you can say that Spurs got lucky, but you can also say that Aston Villa got lucky in some respects with those 2 goals in stoppage time. But I think we also have to give credit where credit is due and say the Spurs are on a good road to recovery under Postecoglou and looking like a really, really good team. I still believe that Arsenal should win the North London derby at home because I think we just somehow have this knack of being able to raise our game on our home ground. Obviously, Fulham was an aberration where we completely, failed. And don't get me started on, Manchester City and Brighton last season, Southampton. I don't want to that. But Spurs, they're looking good. It's still early days, and I think Postecoglou has an idea of the type of style he wants to play and the players he wants, to help achieve that. And if the what a sumptuous strike there, and Forest have just drawn level. Callum Hudson-Odoi, Hanno, how could you have let him leave? He's muted, but yeah. I think Spurs are looking quite good, and they deserved probably something for the resilience they showed. So it will be interesting to see how they go about in their subsequent games this season.
Yeah, 100%. Does anyone else want to say their thoughts on Tottenham before we move on?
No.
Postecoglou's done a great job with that side. In 5-6 games, you can already see the style he's tried to implement. The team have quite clearly reciprocated that. They're playing really good football, and yeah, let's see how it goes for the rest of the season. But it's a very, very good start to the season for Tottenham. I am interested to see how they do in the North London derby, though.
That's gonna be a good match. That's gonna be a good match. I mean, I don't know if anyone said. I think it's a normal win for City, but I don't know if anyone wants to touch on this win. But City did beat West Ham 3-1. Obviously, there was 1-0 down first, but listen, City will always, win these type of games. And yeah, I mean, I have nothing to say because City winning this game, it's normal for them. So that's where the mighty are falling. But yeah, listen, City, normal win for them. But yeah, anyone else want to touch on that?
I'll be very, very brief at your request, Doris. City are the defending champions. They're looking better. The only worry that one might have is that maybe they peaked a bit too early, but we'll see. But West Ham, they still look good, but I wouldn't be surprised if they start to have a little bit of a drop-off in their subsequent games. But yeah, nothing really much to say, really. I think it was another example of Manchester City resilience and West Ham somehow enjoying a really good start to the season. But how West Ham will recover from this will remain to be seen. And they've also got Europa League football to concentrate on, mind.
Man City's focus is the Champions League. They don't care about winning the Premier League title. They don't care about winning the Premier League. Like it's just their play. It's just their side tour at this moment in time. What they want to go is they want to go back to back in the Champions League. Like they'll probably win. They'll probably win the Premier League with 10 games to go and have everything else to focus on. Like Pep is eyeing the Champions League. That's the only thing he wants.
Yeah. Hannah, do you want to touch on the West Ham City game, or do you have nothing to say?
West Ham did good, but City again, the class of City just showed towards the end. That's what carried them through.
It hurts me to say this, but I think City will win the Premier League again, and that makes them, first team to the four in a row, isn't it? So yeah, where the mighty have fallen, didn't it? So yeah, is what it is. When you've got proper structure, ownership, and the actual list of the fans, that's what happens. So yeah.
I used to live in Manchester. Now I still live fairly close to Manchester. I think people, as someone who lived there, driven around that area since the Qataris have owned it, I don't think people realize how much development they've done to that side of Manchester, not just to the stadium, but also the music complex they're building, the academy they've built. They've built a sports center there. They've redeveloped a school there. They've redeveloped that entire east side of Manchester to what it is now. It's not just the football with City; it's the entire infrastructure. It's looking to make money, looking in different ways, not just about sponsorship. It's the marketing side. Even their kits this year are gorgeous. Like they are good-looking kits this year. It's everything about City that it's everything about them that wants to make it attractive. Like the just quick before we move on, the high school that they've built there. All the high school kids, if they perform well enough in school, have an opportunity to go to a City game with the box if they perform well enough in school and things like that. So this is like it's everything. They've tried to make themselves a community team. That's the difference. That's why they're just number one at the minute.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly, 100%. So yeah. Yeah, Manny did say it to you before, but you cut out. But yeah, but nah, listen. I'm not praying for nothing, but I know the Glazers ownership. Yeah, listen, I'm not talking about that because I talk about that every stream, but imagine us under the Qatari A regime. So, but yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Next game, Newcastle. I mean, listen. By the way,
this was a dead game.
Yeah, listen. Newcastle is classic win for them, but the way they've done the next week, I don't know if Manny and Ollie want to say anything, but the next week, North London Derby's at 2 p.m. UK time, and then Newcastle 4:30. For me, I don't.
Yeah,
I'm not with that. I'm not sure.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
There's
isn't the first time Arsenal Spurs 2 p.m. or am I wrong? Because for me, listen, put Newcastle later on at 4:30. I might be complaining about
it. Got a dead game, to be honest, too.
For me, it's a classic win. So I don't know if anyone has their thoughts.
And
but
the biggest problem with that is there's like 4 other games that's it are happening at the same time. It's also Tottenham, Brighton, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Villa, Liverpool, West Ham.
Let's be honest, mate. Unless you're a fan of any of those other clubs, the only thing most people are going to care about is the North London Derby. No one else is going to care about them other game. Like it should have been it should have been the showpiece game of the weekend.
Yeah, it should have been because Liverpool West Ham, that's an interesting game. Even Chelsea Villa, kinda.
100%. Connor says North London Derby should be 4:30 p.m. Oh, we'll smash them early.
Yeah, Sheffield United Newcastle. That's a 4:30 game.
That is disgrace, What a disgrace that is. But we'll skip Newcastle, man. Newcastle, they got the win.
Newcastle.
But now.
Turn it back on. Turn your camera back on.
Hello, man. Talk to me. Listen, you want to say Ten Hag's under this and that, yeah? Listen, Pochettino, 1 win in 5 games. Hello, talk to me, man.
I said one of Bournemouth.
What a waste of money.
My prediction was one of Bournemouth. But before I go into the game, I want to apologize to every neutral fan that watched that game and spent your Sunday afternoon watching that game, because it was absolutely rubbish, that game. If you I could have fallen asleep if Chelsea were playing that game.
Can you tell me about Nicholas Jackson, please?
I can't. I don't have the capacity to talk about Nicholas Jackson or NFL Tech. But what I can talk about is Pochettino. Him. Now, as Chelsea fans, if you are on social media, you would know we have been talking about one problem that has 2 parts. Chilwell at left wing and Cole at left back. Now this game, he listened with Chilwell at left wing. He dropped him. It's fine. We're happy. But why have you gone with Cole at left back? If you want to play a left back, why not go with Madsen even? If you see the 8 on Chilwell, go with Madsen. Why Cole?
Who did you say? Who? Go with who? What's the name?
Ian Madsen.
What I saw is Chilwell got booed in half all time, so I don't know about that. So I don't know what's going on.
But it's rubbish, anyway.
Oh, you think Chilwell's rubbish?
Well, at left wing is rubbish. He hasn't been good.
Listen, for me, Chelsea.
But also the players were terrible. Like there was no energy.
That's why you have to keep playing Conor Gallagher, man.
Yeah, Conor Gallagher. Oh my day. So you've got Enzo, you've got Thiago Silva.
Free Enzo Fernandez. Free Enzo Fernandez.
Yeah, definitely.
Free Enzo Fernandez.
Look, honestly,
Ollie,
Lo-
what do you say about Chelsea,
Liverpool
Ollie?
can take him because he is such a ball at Liverpool. Even Mudryk at Liverpool, Mudryk would be fire. But yeah, look,
Yeah, Ollie, go on.
we're rubbish. Everyone knows this. Everyone knows this.
Yeah, bad game for Chelsea. Boring game. I don't know.
Bournemouth should have won, Bournemouth should have
they
actually won this game.
Not really much to say about Chelsea. They're not doing
I
well.
wouldn't go that far. I don't think they. I think Solanke missed some success, but I wouldn't say he needed to win.
Chelsea had the better chances, quite frankly. I mean, let's not forget they had a goal disallowed because, look, that free kick from Raheem Sterling was inch perfect. It left Neto rooted to the spot. And if, I believe it was Colwill who strayed offside, wasn't it, Hannah?
Yeah.
If he had been a bit more patient and prudent, Chelsea would have scored. The impression that I get with Chelsea is that they've got a good set of fixtures, but for some reason they just can't seem to really get it together just yet. But once they start scoring, it will, be a flood. That's what I think. And I mean, I'm not saying this to necessarily defend Pochettino. Far be it from me to defend the next Tottenham manager. And I'm not really too fussed about Chelsea that much. But look, obviously Chelsea bought Poch in for the same reason that Spurs brought in Postecoglou. It is effectively a rebuild after the turmoil that took place last season. So there will be some patience needed. And I still think that the decision to give the captaincy and the vice captaincy to Reece James and Ben Chilwell, respectively, is a bit of a poor decision. Because when you've got someone like a Thiago Silva who's still proving, despite being close to his 40s, that he's still more than capable of performing well and leading the team, you need someone who can really drag the team forward with him. And I don't see either James or Chilwell being capable of doing that. So the captaincy decision was a bit of a poor one, really.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah.
Here's the thing about the only thing I want to say about Poch is he couldn't do it at PSG with Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi. What made Chelsea think he was going to do it at Chelsea?
I think what we saw is we're going with this young project, and I think going off what we saw at Tottenham, and how we developed the youngsters there, we were like, okay, we've got a bunch of youngsters. Let's get a coach in that can coach them to be this position and build them up. Again, it wasn't my first choice. I wanted someone like Luis Enrique, someone like that.
Oh, listen,
Luis Enrique.
You dodged the bullet by not getting Luis Enrique.
Luis Enrique, nah, man. Listen, United fans, by the way,
He's not doing good right now.
Nah, listen, this guy said, "Oh, I'm happy the boys gave 100%." That's like fucking Southgate saying that, man. Right? Listen, Luis Enrique.
That's like 10 out after the game saying we played well.
There's no way Chelsea fans are talking about United playing well when you've had one win in like 95 years. Come on, man. Come on. You're the only club that are doing worse than we are, not saying something.
Well, we're both in the mud. You can argue who's more in the mud, but we're both in the mud.
Yeah, I think that's Chelsea talk done. Ollie, you can finally wake up now. Talk about your team. Arsenal beat ended the record at Goodison Park. Apparently, Arteta's the greatest Arsenal manager in history. Arteta deserves a statue outside the Emirates. Talk to me, Ollie.
I'm not sleeping. If you think I'm doing that, I'm not sleeping. I'm just putting my head back. But yeah, good win for Arsenal. A bit of an ugly win, goal disallowed in the first
Ollie,
half.
Does Arteta deserve a statue outside Emirates?
Not yet. No. When we win the league.
Oh, by the way, Hanno, great news for you.
Burnley.
Great news for you. South Africa up. Lyle Foster's put Burnley back in front.
No! Why? Why, Foster?
Yeah, anyways, Ollie, back to you, Arsenal.
Yeah, listen, Trossard,
FPL. FPL, yeah. South Africa, yeah. But yeah, continue.
But no, good good. Trossard was a good sub. I think.
Oh my God.
Him up.
Oh, 2-1 Burnley.
Yeah, 2-1 Burnley.
Well, I have
listen,
Foster is
But
is
as
last
I
year
said, a
on
win is a
Premier League,
win.
by the
Good
way.
win for us. Obviously, we would have wanted to win more convincingly. But listen, it's a good result for us. We need to keep it going, keep on winning these games, probably convincingly from now on. But listen, we got the win. Good goal from Trossard. Yeah, we moved to the next game. Tottenham are at home. It's going to be a tough game. But
how you feeling, Ollie? How you feeling for the Tottenham game?
yeah, I'm confident. I think Tottenham, although it is going to be tough because Tottenham are doing well at the moment. But we're our home ground. Obviously we
that's
haven't.
handball. That I can't lie, guys. I don't know if you guys are watching. That's handball,
Yep,
they were
I'm watching that right now.
I think that's handball,
For penalty for Forest.
No, it's basically when they scored the goal, the guy that passed it, he handballed it, and then he should have controlled the ball. But I think that they're checking the VAR possible handball. But
Come on,
yeah.
They're checking right now. Am I ahead of you, Manny, or what?
Nope, same time. Probably maybe a second behind, but it's all good.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyways,
Arsenal,
Ollie, you go on, Hannah.
Moments of brilliance. Really
Oh, that is
Arsenal.
dreadful.
That's a handball, Yeah, that is. Yeah,
No goal. Hannah, you're safe.
Come on. 1-1. I just need 1-1.
Right? Oh no, he's going to check it. He's going to check it.
Why do you need 1-1? Why do you need 1-1, Hannah?
He's actually.
Well,
listen, I don't get this.
but,
Why do actually VAR official tell the ref? Can they not just tell the decision to the? He doesn't need to check it. It's a clear handball.
Because I don't want the blame on them. Basically.
Yeah, listen, the ref. I think.
But
He said,
yeah,
wait, hang on. He's made the decision. No goal. Yeah, handball.
good one.
But yeah, Ollie, are you happy that?
Yeah.
Are you happy that the record's done broken with that?
Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, I would have liked to win convincingly, but it is good to get the curse broken and finally win at Goodison Park. But yeah, I would have preferred a few more goals, but it's good to get the win. The win's a win, and yeah, that's all I've got to say. Good win for us. Good to obviously get the clean sheet as well. Obviously, David Raya starting, a bit annoyed about that, but he did keep a clean sheet and he had a decent game. He didn't have many saves to make, but if he had a few,
was good for me. I don't know, Manny, Oli. For me, I think on the ball it was. I think it is better and Ramsey on the ball. Of what I
he's
have
not very
seen.
tall though. He's not very tall.
let Manny. Do you want to see your thoughts on this game, Everton Arsenal?
Yeah, look, I think Ollie pretty much covered everything. It was a bit of it was a win where we, had a lot of control, but didn't really manage to take advantage of it in the final third, and we had to depend on Trossard coming on and scoring again, and Trossard could very well be to Mikel Arteta what Mark Robbins was to Alex Ferguson. So again.
Sorry. I thought you. Sorry, I was just going to ask a question, but I didn't. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. So I think back into the history, obviously, of United to find out about the Mark Robbins Ferguson connection there, but it was a win. We needed it. We were able to break the Goodison hoodoo. Everton made it easy for us by continuing to go a bit too defensive. You would think that with Calvert-Lewin fit again, that Dyche would consider playing a 4-4-2, at least bringing on converting it into a 4-4-2. But instead, he took off his number 14 for his number 9, just like we took off our number 14 for our number 9, and our number 9 looked a lot better than our number 14. A dreadful game for Eddie Nketiah. I want to see Gabriel Jesus start on Wednesday against PSV, and that means that we should be able to play the 4-2-3-1 formation again with Jesus as the lone striker. Obviously, not really good games from Saka, I would say. Odegaard tried, but still we needed a bit more from him. Martinelli looked really good, had a goal disallowed, and the injury, of course, to his, I want to say his quadricep or hamstring or whatever, If it's his hamstring, it's quite severe. I hope it's his quadricep instead. I hope he'll be fit for Wednesday, but I don't know if that could happen. And our defense was untroubled. And it just goes to show that when you switch to a flat back four, you avoid all of these problems. Yes, I know Zinchenko likes to, go inverted and cut in more often than not. But if I had to choose between a left back who can't defend and a right back who can't defend, I'd sooner pick the left back, because at least Zinchenko has enough experience now to know that he can't keep indulging in any sort of monkey business all the time, and he has to go back and defend. So decent win. Probably I would have liked a few more goals, but Wednesday is going to be the litmus test, and we're going to see what sort of formation Arteta will play. And he should find it easy, because PSV's top midfielder, Ibrahim Sangare, has gone to play for Forest. And of course, he has been in action tonight and not looked too bad. Why you'd want to leave a Champions League team to come and play for Nottingham Forest, I will never know. But hey, it is what it is. And it was a decent day. Nothing much to do about it, I would say. And we move on to the North London derby. We should be able to win, but it won't be easy against this Tottenham team. Let's treat them with a bit more respect.
Sorry, the only thing I want to ask the two Arsenal boys, is it concerning you both slightly that you've not looked as fluid as you did last year? Like, a lot of your wins have sort of been scrappy wins, dirty wins, and stuff. Like, you've held sort of time and possession and things like that, but you're not. It's not the fluid Arsenal of last year. Like, let's go to the sort of let's go to the game United Arsenal. Yeah, eventually you won 3-1, but the Garnacho decision goes a different way. You don't get the 96th minute, stuff like that. That's a totally different game. But obviously you got the win, so it's looked at differently. Even against Everton, Martinelli was offside, and you create bits and bats. But again, it was scrappy. Like, does that concern either of you?
Our best football, Wajid, last season, especially at the beginning, was with the 4-2-3-1 formation. But since Gabriel Jesus got injured, we had to play Eddie Nketiah, and he couldn't function as a lone striker, so we had to change it to a 4-3-3. And whenever we play with the 4-3-3, we don't really play our best football at times, because our midfield can sometimes look a little bit stretched. Our wingers have a bit too much, I'd say, a little bit of work to do with not much in terms of adequate support. And it's a question of really, Arteta being will he be sensible enough to stop this ridiculous experimenting and just play the best way he can? And Wednesday will be a test. So it is concerning, actually. And what really angers me as well is how several of these flop gooners, as I call them on Twitter, are saying, the sign of a champion team is to be able to win ugly. But that doesn't mean you win ugly every single game, for crying out loud. You win ugly against teams like, your Manchester Cities or your Manchester Uniteds. You don't win ugly against teams like Crystal Palace or Nottingham Forest, for Pete's sake. And the fact that we're doing it at this stage in the season, we've already seen so many injuries. So yes, it is quite concerning. And not only do we have to get our act together as a team, but Arteta has to get things together as a manager, and we need to get things together as a club and strengthen again in January, because once again, our transfer business, quite simply, has not been good enough. I'm sorry to say that. Aside from Rice, we've got Timber, who's injured. Havertz might as well be injured, and Raya, we got him on loan, and he looks okay. But apart from that, nothing.
Yeah. Ollie, what about you? Are the performances concern you, or you just care about the 3 points?
I care about the 3 points, but the results, the performances are concerning me a bit. We do need to improve. But we'll see against Tottenham. If we have a poor game, then I'll be a bit worried. But at the moment, we're doing all right. We're getting these wins narrowly, but no, we're not in.
Yeah.
Any concerns on Saka? Again, he hasn't.
I mean, he got the assist in the game, and he did all right.
Well,
he did okay, but he's not the player that he was last season. I think that's what we're trying to say. But listen, there's only 5 games in. It's a bit too early, but let's just see. But Yeah. At least Saka shows something unlike Rashford. But yeah, before I get attacked by the top Reds, sorry, top Reds. He was born in Manchester, that's fine. But yeah, listen, I think that's all games that we've covered. I have the Aiden. I have saved the question, so I'm gonna bring him back from beginning. And then Toby, okay, sorry that I'm going out topic here, but what's all your reaction to Neil Warnock, Leo Huddersfield? I mean, I did see that today. I think it depends on who Town replace, because the replace that they're gonna get was gonna be key. But Manny, what do you think about this situation?
They've disrespected Neil Warnock and Ronnie Jepson dreadfully. I mean, there's always going to be a part of me that thinks that Warnock should have walked away with his legacy and his reputation well intact, as should have Ronnie. But they wanted to. I think Forest, by asking them to sign the deal they did, wanted the penny and the bun. They wanted to have that security while also making it clear that they were looking for a long-term replacement. But you can't treat managers that way. It has to be one way or the other. If you signed them on a certain deal, you expect to honor that particular deal and let them stay for the season. And the sad thing is that, although they didn't have the best of starts, I think Aiden and Ryan can agree with me that results were improving. So why is there an echo? What's going on here?
It's whoever's got you on the other side.
Yeah, there's an echo.
Yeah, because now I can hear my echo.
Yeah, so it sounds as if it's coming from Ollie, and I think we need to make sure that whenever.
Wait, let me leave and join back. Hang on.
It's not coming from me, Manny.
Okay, sorry about that, Ollie. I didn't know. I didn't realize. I think it's Orist. So yeah, so now we need to make sure that whenever we speak, we have our mics off just in case. But I mean, the others have their mics off. But back to Warnock and Jepson, I think they were badly disrespected. When you offered them that deal,
Ask turn your mic off or something. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, much better. So when you sign them on a 1-year deal, you give them that security that they will at least be there for one more year and then let them leave with dignity. Instead, you effectively treat them like, disposable commodities. They're not. Warnock is a managerial, legend. I mean, legend might be, an easy term to throw around, but for the number of games that he's managed and the respect he's earned in the game, he and Ronnie deserved a lot better. And for them to be treated that way is just terrible in many ways. I think if Warnock had made it crystal clear that he was going to leave, no questions asked, this situation would have been avoided. At least Huddersfield would have been able to, be a lot more proactive in finding a successor over the summer. Instead, the owners, to me, wanted to have the penny and the bun, and they treated Warnock and Jepson very shamefully indeed. Ireland tried to do the same thing with Mick McCarthy. They shunted him out in favour of Stephen Kenny, and now they're struggling badly. And I get this as much. Yeah.
And if they do lose him, they are in heap of trouble because last season he saved them from relegation, and this season they could be going down again. I reckon.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Of course, I mean, obviously we haven't forgotten that, and I did say that the results were starting to improve. And of course, the Ireland parallel is that after they shunted out Mick McCarthy, not allowing him the courtesy of finishing the job he, started and trying to get them to qualify for the, I think it was the European Championships that time around, Euro 2020. Yes, they shunted him out, brought Stephen Kenny in, and Ireland have been absolutely dismal since. So you've got to treat managers with a bit more respect and give them the chance to finish what they started. And to expect Warnock and Jepson to, cop that, it was just shameful because if they had at least, left at the end of the season with Huddersfield, staying up, they would have, had that ending. The cheers would have been ringing in their ears. and it would have been a great way to end it, and Huddersfield would have been forced into immediate action. It's just incompetence from the board and arrogance from those people at the top. And I do hope for Aiden's and Ryan's sake that Huddersfield will still recover and go on to stay up. But, you know, they had a similar appointment with a long-term appointment with Mark Fotheringham, who was supposed to be their long-term, you know, manager, and that completely didn't work out at all well. So, I mean, I'm worried as to what might happen this season.
Yeah, 100%. But we're going to wrap up here. It's been a good one. I'm going to get people to shout their socials. Start off with Ollie. Where can people find you? Big up for joining.
Yeah, big up for joining. You can catch me here on Wessex Football, a few other channels, but I'm not really on many channels, so I won't shout them all out. But I'm on a few other channels. If you want to catch me on my channel, it's down below there. DJ Sinclair on YouTube. On the road to 1,100 for the end of the year. We're on 1,077 at the moment. So please do subscribe, watch out my videos.
What time do you call this, Willie?
Oh, I had to join, man. Man had to join. Man had to show the guys some love. Man had to show the guys, yo. Man's in my element right now. I'm even like Tupac back in the 90s, but I don't care. What's going on? United fans, 3-1. Smokage. Bournemouth 0-0. Smokage. Trossard. Smokage. Champions League. Champions League. Alright, talk to me. Hano, you can hear the Champions League music. You can hear the Champions League music. The champion. Man, hear that first glance.
Waleed, enough's enough. This is out of order.
Just had to show some love for the guys. You know, man had to show. I was a bit busy in it, so I had to just come in and quickly show some guys some love and that. Can't really see any United fans over here except for man like Oris. You're gonna have to hold the blame, my bro. 3-1. Right.
Ooh, some drama here. A late sending off, and Hanno, sorry to disappoint you. It's your boy Lyle Foster who's going off.
Waleed, we got Wajid as well. That's United. So
Wajid United fan as well, bro. How's it feel, man, to get Deserby 2 years in a row? What's going on, guys? Just tell it what's going on. What happened to Ten Hag transfer process? What happened to Ten Hag? Oh, all great eras come to an end. What happened to Ten Hag? Oh, we got Anthony, we got Sancho, we got Højlund, we got Bruno, we got Rashford. What's happening? Wan-Bissaka's injured. The whole defense is injured. The whole team's injured. Man's playing Scott McTominay 2024. What's going on, lads?
Hey, bro, you still talking, blood? Shit, man.
Yeah, I'm still talking. I've got right.
I don't know you sport, bro. I don't even know you sport. Like, you just come on, start talking.
He's what's Arsenal.
The best team in the Premier League. The best team in London.
Aren't you the team that balled the Premier? Are you the team that balled the Premier League last year? Swear.
Are you the team that is currently? So if I go on Google and I type Manchester United,
Willie, can I ask you something? No, wait, quickly, because it needs to wrap up. How old are you? If you I'm asking, bro.
Now I'm turning 18, boss.
You're turning 18. You've never seen So the only time you've ever seen your team lift the Premier League is like on YouTube, innit? Like you've never actually seen it with no. So bro, you don't know what success is, so don't come in the stream, talk to me about it, like what's going on.
I don't know about success.
Bro, aside from YouTube, you know, they've all chipped, everyone's all
if I don't know success, so you've won one trophy. You've won one trophy in the past 7 years, which was a Carabao Cup trophy.
I lived through an era where I saw the treble. I see my team lift the Champions League. I see my team that left the Champions League try. Alhamdulillah. I think this is the first time. This is the last time
you won a Premier League title. You didn't even have grey hair back then. That's the last time you won a Premier League title.
I actually did.
Okay, guys,
you are a young man,
bro. The last time you won the Champions League, yeah, your mom and dad were thinking about you, bro. You weren't even here. You were a thought process. You were a thought process, bro. You were.
Okay, guys, listen, guys. Cease and desist, all right?
Yeah.
Let's leave. We don't need to bring this on a stream. Enough's enough.
Yeah, sorry. Decent Co on YouTube. Go subscribe to me. Go watch my videos, probably watch hours. Instagram, Ollie.Sinclair556 and Aaron on Scrum's fan page 1, but that may be short lived because of certain Raya in Arsenal's team. Apart from that, PlayStation, Xbox, and Snapchat, easy personally DM for that. Nothing else really to shout out. But yeah, please do subscribe to Decent Claire and follow Ollie.Sinclair556 on Instagram.
Big up yourself, Ollie. Manny, where can people find you?
Well, you can find me here on OTF. Big up to you for inviting me, and also on Hanno's Coach's Corner, where we'll be doing a lot more work together on football, on cricket, on rugby. Big up to DJ Sinclairo, his channel. I hope if I get some time, maybe I'll come on again. We'll see. And big up to Wajid as well. Good to have you on, brother. Nice to meet you. And big up to everyone in the chat who's contributed. And big up to the other channels where you can find me: Del Boy Gunner TV, Tony Claude Gunner TV, Danny AFC TV, Up the Chose in all departments, AFC Talk Show TV, and Villa TV, a lot of other channels I can't really name. Also, big up to Huddersfield Town Fan TV with Ryan Mather, and of course, I know that Aiden is a big contributor to that. I've been on a few streams with them, and I hope we'll get a chance to talk to each other again. Several other channels, can't really name at the moment, but all very close to my heart. And one thing which I will say right now is, respect on streams is important. What we just saw over there with Waleed coming in, I'm sorry to say this, it was out of order. We have to learn to respect one another and avoid banter. Learn to agree to disagree without being disagreeable. Otherwise, we shouldn't have, a discussion. So let's keep things respectful from now on. Avoid all unnecessary banter and, cheering at people. This is supposed to be a proper football discussion, not an attempt to one-up one another. And hopefully I won't see any of that again. Once again, big up to the chat. Thanks a lot to everyone who's joined in. And enjoy the sporting action coming up this week. Enjoy the rest of your week. Champions League back on Tuesday and Wednesday. Europa League and Conference League on Thursday. And, of course, league action back again over the weekend. The rugby's going on in France. Always exciting. And the Cricket World Cup will be next month. A lot to look forward to. Until then, take care of yourselves. Stay safe and stay happy. Don't do anything that us panelists wouldn't do. For now, though, I'm out.
Big up on yourself. Wajid, where can we find a big up yourself?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I don't know if I'll be back on again, so because of the last bit, so apologies for that. But yeah, my Twitter handle @BurnoutTravels, where I post a lot about my travels, and I'm hoping to hit 7,000 followers by the end of the year. So, but that would be greatly appreciated. Also, I do a Formula One podcast there, great talk. So please do give that a follow and a watch if any in Formula One. And aside from that, my only football content is here on Big O's channel. So thank you very much for the panelists. As always, thank you very much for having me on, and I really appreciate it. So thank you very much.
Yeah, no worries. Big up all of you. And last but not least,
save the best for last, eh? So yeah, on YouTube, Coach's Corner there, and on Instagram, _Coach_Corner, and on Twitter, _Coach Corner, and TikTok, Coach Corner 1. Yeah, closing in on 500 subs, so do make sure if you haven't already to give the channel sub and a like, and also before you leave, smash a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.
Yeah, big up to you, man. Big up to you. But yeah, big up the panel. Listen, really appreciate the content with the Clips channel, so that will be uploaded very soon when I have time to do so. But big up all three of you. I know Wajid had to go, so big up to him as well. Big up to you three, but big up to everyone in the comments. Connor, good to see you. Planning to have you on for the North London Derby one. Chelsea fan, Aiden, big up to everyone in the chat that has contributed. And yeah, our next stream will be the big one, the North London Derby. Make sure to Check that out. Turn your notifications on, and we are out. Peace.